Exploring the unknown, from conspiracies to mysteries, you are entering the conspiracy sector.
Well, welcome everyone to this very special program. I am your host, Aubrey Batchelor, and sailing this divine ship of knowledge with me is Chris Jacobs, and you are entering the conspiracy sector. Today, we have a very special program, like I stated, for you. It revolves around something that happens to each and every one of us each day. It happens in some which way, shape, and form, usually. And whenever it happens, this particular thing, it gives you a feeling of amazement, gives you a feeling of wonder, gives you a feeling of curiosity. A lot of people say that it's a divine connection. It's signs from your angels. There's many theories surrounding this exact topic today, and it's in a very, 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 very cool and amazing subject. And it touches each and every one of us some which way, shape, and form on a daily basis, all the time, if you recognize the signs. The signs are all around. All you have to do is pay close attention, and you'll discover some truly amazing things that are hidden right in front of you. Uh, and this subject, should we just go ahead and tell them, Chris? It's obviously, if you're keen to the information that I gave you, it surrounds around synchronicities.
Yes,
Synchronicities.
synchronicities. Yeah, we see them all the time here. We see synchronicities constantly when guides are attempting to communicate, or ETs are attempting to communicate. There's some that will, the way they intervene is by basically influencing you to either not walk down a dark alley or not get hit by a car or something like that. There's ETs out there that do it telepathically, and then there's etherical beings that do it. And this we run into this all the time. Some use songs. I've noticed this, like on the radio, like they'll say a certain number of a song that aligns with, say, some bit of information in your life you were supposed to remember to correct possibly in your life. Like, say something happened in, say, in the 80s or something like that, like say in 1988 or something like that. You'll hear a song from 1988. You'll probably hear the song that has to do with something like that. Or in 1988, this singer won this award. Da, da, da. You'll hear that. I've run into that multiple times. One of the big synchronicities I ran into was when I was getting certain secret space program memories back, and this was a really weird one, where I was in our workshop and I had our Pandora playing on my phone, and it kept playing Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix constantly all the time. And I came to find out the memory was associated with the Phoenix logo, so it kept playing this over, and it was somebody trying to tell me, "Hey, stupid, this is a synchronicity."
I love to call that the synchronistic connection. It connects to one thing that you discovered later on, and that's happened throughout movies. Even I think they're in the Matrix. He comes across this girl with the rabbit tattoo. Is it Follow the Girl with the Rabbit Tattoo? And then he gets to see all the main players of the Matrix and red pill, blue pill. So he made the connection. It was a sign. And these are synchronistic signs when they happen randomly. See, they have to happen randomly. Now, you don't want to intently look for things like 1111. And that's what makes synchronicity so amazing. It's the feeling that you get that goes.
Aubrey, your sound is going way down. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, crap. I'm sorry, everybody.
Yeah, your sound started to just go like
that. You know what happened?
Huh.
I was doing some work on my table here. Hello.
Yep, you're fine.
I was doing some work on my table here, and the thing rattled off. You see, this always happens. Things like this. Whenever we get in the groove and get going, there's always certain energies at play that like to have fun with us, I think. Chris and I have had so many malfunctions and so many problems when it comes to all of our ghost hunts technologically that we could probably be in the Guinness Book of World Records for technological problems, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This would be, I suppose you could say it's a synchronicity, but on the wrong end.
It is. This is a synchronistic experience. Why is it? It's opposing forces. This is opposing synchronicity here. You know, getting in the groove, getting into things, really, you know, explaining what synchronicities are. And right when I'm describing it, what happens? You can't hear me. Yeah, so that's a weird, like, some would say bad synchronicity, but I don't know. The world's a weird place regardless. Hopefully that is better.
Yeah, that is much better. Yeah.
You can edit all that crap out if you want.
No, we'll just leave it because I think people need to see how there's these opposing forces that
that's exactly true. Things happen out of the blue. That just goes to show you that anything is possible. Something as minuscule as that. That's why life is precious, and that's why synchronistic signs really can be used as a tool to help you make that connection to a higher realm, to understand yourself, to give you clues and insight on where you need to go with your life's path. If once you start recognizing these signs randomly, and you start understanding what they mean, you make the connection per se. It's an amazing experience. It's one that fills you full of delight and interconnectedness, and it gives you amazing, I guess the way that I want to put this, the future looks kind of dim in a lot of ways for this whole world unless we change it around. And synchronicities kind of balance that evilness and spitefulness in this world out with interconnectedness and a high strung attitude to achieve. So it helps you repel and negate a lot of the bull crap that we're surrounded with on a daily basis, everything that suffocates us on a daily basis and drags us down. Synchronicities can be used to overcome that bull crap once you start learning and understanding the signs and how to incorporate that to better yourself. I've had a lot of amazing synchronicities happen in my life. I really wish one thing I really regret, especially since you and I had talked about doing the synchronistic episode. Ever since we talked about that, I should have started writing down a synchronicity diary, and went into all the times that it's happened to me, and could really go into detail and spark that memory back into play. But I can tell you a lot of them right off my memory bank. All right, one of the most profound ones happened about 6 months back. I was heading to work one early morning, and there's a song that came on by Joe Diffie, who died from coronavirus. Rest in peace, Joe Diffie, called John Deere Green. I don't know, for those that might know the song, those who don't. But anyhow, I was jamming out to this song, and it gets to the chorus, and I'm pulling onto my exit heading to work, and a trailer goes by me right when the chorus starts, right when Joe Diffie starts going, John Deere Green. Right there, a trailer's going by me, and it has a John Deere mower, riding lawnmower on it that's being towed away. All right, well, it gets better. About 20 seconds later, the chorus comes to an end. Out of all the seconds in the world that it could have happened, this is what makes events like this so special. And it has to happen for you personally, but everybody has had these experiences. Out of all the seconds in the world, and just that day, at the exact time I left, and all events it took, the amount of time I had at each stoplight, stop sign, to get to that exit right when that song started playing, at that course, that exact second, you notice a sign, a John Deere lawnmower was being towed right at that exact second when the chorus of the music was starting. And 15 seconds later, after that, the chorus is about ready to come to an end, and I'm pulling up to the stoplight. A truck towing a John Deere green colored tractor trailer, was hauling 3 John Deere lawnmowers on it right when that was coming to an end. Coincidence? Maybe, but come on, right at that exact second, for all those things to align that way, that suggests a higher power. It could be a simulation we're all living in that suggests a lot of things. All right. But that's all the interconnectedness of twisted words here. Interconnectedness of everything.
Yeah, with that,
that's what makes it so
I
amazing.
feel that may have even been him trying to communicate through synchronicity. A lot of spirit communicates that way.
And you hit on it too, and that's one of my favorite things is things like when it comes to synchronicities, and that's what happens to me all the time. You could be thinking of somebody special, something special, or just randomly thinking, and it's like you're focused here on driving, and something in your subconscious mind, a higher power, you could be focused on driving, and something will tell you within your mind to look over. Something will tell you, and the first thing you see is triple A's, triple threes, 1111 on a license plate, a time, a clock. You see these things randomly, and they have a special meaning. That's synchronicity. And I think, they have to be signs that the way the way that things happen, the way they do when it comes to synchronicities. The feeling you get, they have to be signs of some sort that may be within us. Obviously they are, but I think they're also out of our realm, and signs for us to better ourselves, in my opinion, once you recognize them.
Oh yeah, that's exactly it. And also it takes extreme discernment. When it's a legitimate, genuine sign or synchronicity. You can literally feel it through your whole being. Now, if it's something trying to mimic it, like if it's some like a 3D matrix type of thing that's trying to take place, like artificial intelligence or something like that, it's very hollow. It's very cold. It doesn't have that same oomph that a true spirit synchronicity is. There's one good example I heard many years ago of on the negative end of the spectrum, where there was someone who was investigating the Villisca axe murder house, and all of a sudden her printer at her house activated. She said she wanted a sign that she was supposed to investigate the house further. Well, all of a sudden her printer activates and prints the map of the Villisca axe murder house. I'm thinking, no, that's an alien or an artificial intelligence messing with you right there. Granted, spirit can mess with devices too, but this was too precise. This was like it literally pulled up Google and printed the map. Like somebody typed in Google Earth and it printed the map. And it was I found out years later that was actually AI doing that, or some outwardly force trying to get somebody to go there because there was more of a demonic force there that wanted to attach onto people. Not saying it's there now. I'm just saying at that point in time, that's what was happening. And that's the feeling I got from that. But the most of the ones I've run into have been good ones. But every now and again, you get one that sours the milk in there and it tries to go off path. Yeah.
But even you can learn from bad experiences, obviously. The bad synchronicities that pop up in your life and the bad experiences and the bad situations that pop up in your life, you can overcome. It's hard for everybody. Very extremely hard for everybody to overcome anything nowadays. And that's what makes the world an easy place to become great, in my mind. If we continue to get weaker, there's not much hope. What happens when you're weak? You fail. What happens when you're strong? You survive. And we're heading towards this really murky looking world. I feel it. We all want utopian paradise and peace and everyone to get along and it to be this joyous, amazing, wondrous place. Well, that's a possibility, but us human beings have to get in gear as one and really make it happen. And I just don't see it happening. I'm sorry, that's not to be the bearer of bad news, but everybody's going to have to get with the program if there's going to be great change and amazing difference that will really make the world a better place.
Oh yeah, I see it going little by little. What we do is we just start little fires of energy and information everywhere we go. Like start planting like codes of information and energetics and etherics wherever we walk, wherever we go, and that tends to build and help awaken other people as you go along. And then that helps them recognize the good synchronicities, and that helps they then in turn will start to kickstart the energy as they go around. You're right. Yeah, people have to either get with the program, but also in this particular case, they have to shed programming.
Like a snake sheds its skin.
Exactly. There's that part of it too. The snake influence that's out there.
Oh yeah, that's most definite. Yeah, reptile.
Yeah, the reptilian agenda. And surprisingly enough, they're not the only ones doing this, but it's like that are trying to steer people towards another agenda. Here's also something that takes place. You have dozens of races that for thousands of years have been placing hedge bets on people and how they will go and what they will do in their life, or betting on armies like a big chessboard. That's why they always said the gods were betting on humanity. And so
the gods must be crazy too.
Yeah, and basically wanted to see which army would be able to best serve them, who could best serve them. But the thing of it is, we serve ourselves. We break free from that hedge betting that's going on out there, and we basically, if you know who you are and are grounded in the moment, you have nothing to be afraid of.
You said it well. There's a lot of. It's just amazing, isn't it? I mean, yeah, I don't know. You couldn't have said it any better. You had me giggle on the way. And then you said hedge betting. Look at everything. Hedge funds, hedge funds, hedge funds. Manipulation, deception, manipulation, deception. That's all that it is nowadays.
Fall for it. Yeah, there's so many that fall for it. Yeah.
And to see through that manipulation and deception that we're all swimming in, synchronicities can help you along with that too. Like I said, with whatever you're going through in your life, everybody has a different plan and everybody has a different place in this world. And synchronicities is kind of a hidden key for everyone to unlock your future in a way. And like I said, start recognizing the signs, do some research into it. I want to share a little story real quick here. Let me go up to screen share here.
Sorry, everybody, if I'm hacking and coughing and have a bad voice. We just got over having very bad viral bronchitis, so that's why I sound weird.
Yeah, tis the season for hacking.
Yeah, there you go. In more ways than one, apparently.
Yeah. Sound like a South Park character.
That's about what we sounded like a few days ago.
All right. This is from psychologytoday.com. And it comes from a story by Greg Levoy. This is his own personal story. And the real reason I'm going to share this, because I had a psalm that I just, the John Deere Green Synchronicity that I explained to you. And the amazing thing about that, right behind me, I have a John Deere collection. If I don't have this screen cover on, I built my grandfather John Deere shelves. He has a John Deere collection. So, naturally I got it hanging up here now, just to RIP Grandpa, love you. But, so what do I mean by that? That psalm at the synchronistic time that it was has a much higher meaning for me. It made me think of my grandfather as well. And, thinking about your self-development along those things, what he could have taught you, to help you, it kind of chunks up memories and enlightens you with an amazing experience, really, and feeling. But he was driving home from work one day. I was driving to work. He was listening to a song on the radio, as was I, only he was listening to Desperado by the Eagles. As he pulled up to the curb in front of his house, the last line he said I heard before I turned off the car was, "Don't you draw the Queen of Diamonds. She'll beat you if she's able. The Queen of Hearts is always your best bet." He turned off the ignition. He opened his door, stepped his foot onto the curb, and there at his foot was a playing card. Guess what it was? The Queen of Hearts. So that's another amazing story of synchronicity. And for all those things to happen at that exact second, whatever person to drop that card or that card to blow over to that exact spot where he was pulling up at that exact second in his life, when he was listening to that song after it just got done saying the Queen of Hearts, I should have 10 winning lottery tickets in my pocket right now. But why can't you be synchronistic with the lottery? Mainly, unless if you're highly, highly psychic and gifted, or the system, because those are games of chance, not synchronicity. Synchronicity and coincidence is the separation there. Coincidence is just things that happen by chance that are just kind of unique. Synchronicity is the feeling and the no wayness that comes along with it. That's what separates synchronicity and coincidence as well. And well, Carl Jung here, that leads me to my next little article I wanted to touch on. Carl Jung, his view on synchronicity, he was the one that kind of brought it into play, basically. He goes, and this is from medium.com. By Harry J. Steed. Carl Jung asked when he put forward a new concept, which he called synchronicity. Simply stated, synchronicity is a non-causal event in the external world which coincides with things going on in an internal world, such as our thoughts, feelings, and dreams. So he was a very brilliant man when it came to anything along this field of topic and study. He's one of the few in this world that, his word should really be taken into high consideration when it comes to all the testing and everything that he done in his life. We could talk all week about him probably if we really wanted to, but I just basically wanted to share his quote there. I got a few more articles, but we'll save this one for a little bit. There, boom, back. Hello.
Yeah, that was very interesting. I also wanted to tell you that I'm thinking that synchronicity that you got with the tractor, it may not have been the writer of the song. That may have been your grandfather, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I mean. Higher power at play. Synchronistic sign from above. And, that kind of leads, well, I guess I could go back in there, but I'll wait a little bit. That leads kind of into the topic of angel numbers and synchronistic numbers and numerology and tarot. There's the interconnectedness at play there too. All these kind of mythological fields to some, they're all interconnected right here, and they're happening in your life. I know that if you're listening right now, I want you to take a little bit of time while you're listening to this, use your subconscious mind. All right. And think of a time that you had synchronicity, one of the most profound times or one of the most recent, whichever one comes to your mind first. Think of a time that you had synchronicity and comment your answer below. I want to hear your synchronistic stories, because some are thoroughly amazing and some have changed people's lives. Ones that were bad but turned out to be good. People like having a psychic experience of a plane going to crash and they don't want to get on the plane. And what happens? The plane crashed, and there was a good reason that they chose not to get on the plane. So stories like that have happened. And one of my favorite ones would be one from Mark Twain. All right. Samuel Clemens, his brother, I forget his brother's name. I want to say it was Carl as well. They were both riverboat workers. And anyhow, they were split up on these two different boats, and Samuel Clemens, Mark Twain, had a dream that his brother was in a coffin. And these ladies come over and put flowers on the coffin because he was this dapper, handsome man. And, he thought it was just a nightmare and woke up. Well, here a day or two later, guess what happened? The boat ended up sinking and caught fire, and his brother was in a coffin the next time he saw him. And what happened after he saw his brother in the coffin? Some ladies came and put some flowers on his brother's grave, just like in his dream. So, dream interpretations can be prescribed in the synchronistic realm as well. Just because many people, many people have more experiences in their dream state than they do in their waking state. I think that might fall for the majority of people when it comes to such said thoughts. So you might be able to connect that way better than, in the waking state.
Oh yeah, I connect in dreams all the time. The dream state was meant to be before the bad guys really started infiltrating it, was to not only rectify different past life karmic junk and synchronicities that you needed to resolve in this lifetime, but also to get downloads and information that were synchronistic. But the bad guys infiltrated that to where you have to discern in the dream time whether or not that something is trying to interfere with that flow. Like if a being is trying to step in between that, so you don't try to connect the dots or connect the synchronicities. Like if the being's trying to hand you an object or hand you food or you eat food, I found out those things in dreams, you're signing a contract with something negative. Now, if you're just like if you're playing out like a past life memory or something, like a synchronicity that's supposed to play out in the waking world here, that's a bit differently. That'll operate a little bit differently. But the bad guys will always try to hand you something, get you into a car, try to open the door to a building for you, stuff like that. If you don't fall for that, then you get past that and find out what the true information is. because they're blocked. They're basically the troll on the bridge, and you have to basically get past that.
All leads back to the term reptile snake.
Yeah, oh yeah, it does. And then
Dear.
there's other beings that will interfere, but I've seen mainly bug type beings like mantids and stuff like that, and also reptilians in the dream time. Yeah.
Hey, and speaking of all this talk, UFO disclosure, baby, there's some synchronicity for you in the modern world. Everybody in the ufology field, excuse me, let me confuse the public, UAP field. Yeah, it's UAP now, not UFO.
Yeah,
A, B, C, X, Y, Z, Z, Y, X, C, B, A.
Yeah, they had to take a name that worked like UFO and change it.
yeah. It just their manipulation, deception. That's same psalm, second verse. There's another psalm again that was just mentioned in this.
Yeah, and also go back to numbers. I actually find this fascinating. I've looked into numerology, and I've also looked into coin synchronicities too. My grandfather, when he's around, he'll leave change. Like literally, he'll leave it on a and stuff like that. If you add up the numbers that are in like the years on the coins, if you add it all up and then do the numerology, like it'll end up as a number of something he's trying to say.
It's amazing that you're saying that, all right, because you just sparked a synchronistic memory in my mind. A couple of change things, really. One of my favorite coins, it's not worth anything but 25 cents, is the bicentennial quarter, the little drummer boy on the back. I just love that coin, the design on it, the meaning behind it, happy birthday, America, and the special, statement that coin was. I just like it, the story behind it, not just the artistry on it. But for some reason, like randomly, like people just hand you your change, all right, and I'll get home, I got a change jar that I save and cash in every so often, and got the change out of my pocket, and I just look down, and the first thing I see is a bicentennial quarter, and I don't know how many times that's happened to me. A lot in my life, not just because it's a favorite coin, it stands out, I don't think, but it it might be like the first coin and it's on the top of every other coin, when you open your hand, and it's the first thing you see. I mean, it's not like you're looking for it, that's happened too randomly. But it's amazing that you said that, because I've had a lot of synchronicities with bicentennial quarters, and one other, this is more of, I don't know if it's a knowledge sound thing, but I got handed a lot of change one time, and I heard this little ting, and guess what was in there?
Bicentennial quarter, yeah.
Silver quarter, pure silver. I could tell from the sound that it was silver. And I want to say that there might have been a bicentennial quarter in there, but people are going to think I'm lying now. But sparking my memory, I think I had two for the price of one that time. So I think you might be right. I'm going to have to do a little bit of thinking on that. But yeah, I know that I got a silver quarter because I could tell by the sound of it. But I think I might have had a bicentennial quarter in that thing too, or it might have been a day or two before that. I'm gonna have to tap into my memory bank a little bit. But
and also, if people want to see a good movie that has to do with synchronicities, that's the movie Signs that's out there. M. Night Shyamalan movie from years ago. The whole thing is about one solid set of synchronicities that pop up to warn this family about the alien invasion that comes up.
No, weather balloons. They're UAPs, weather balloons.
UAP.
Yeah, go ahead. I know where you're going with this. Go ahead.
Yeah, where all these synchronicities just would align to where they were able to defeat the aliens that come into their house. So it's like,
oh yeah. It's amazing too, from the synchronistic crop circles to the whole storyline of it, all these signs that they're given, these people. There's just another example of how Hollywood movies, you can even go into like the Simpsons episodes, look at everything that they predicted, and the stuff that South Park talked about years ago and is coming true, that you can make, connections to. I think it's possible that the Simpsons and South Park is the best form of news you can watch, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, because of the fact that
learn the way that the real world operates.
Yeah, there's good guys and bad guys putting disclosure in the media out there. There's like this yield that is between both of these sides. and you have some white hats out there that are putting this information out where people can see it, that link up to events that take place. See, the bad guys, they have to tell you the magic they're using, and so do the good guys. If the good guys use it, they have to advertise it to make it work. So they have to say it in some way, or they have to show it in visual form in some fashion. Therefore, it can generate good or bad synchronistic behavior energetically out there.
Amazing. And do you recollect any other synchronistic, happenings that you've had personally?
Yes, there was. It goes back to the coins, the same one as before.
Nice.
For years, my grandfather, like I said, would leave coins wherever I went, and other people have reported this to me too with the coin synchronicities, and it's and with the numerology. Sometimes you don't always have to include that. Sometimes also the coins themselves, the money will add up to a certain number too. But in this case, this was literally just before I got hurt. This was back in 2009 when I was in Tucson, when I just parked my car. And I had this red Saturn at the time, ironically enough, because Saturn's associated with like satanic worship and all this other talk about negative synchronicity right there. But what happened was I got out of the car, and right as I was stepping down, there was this big pile of change right there. I was literally walking on it, and I picked it all up. I put it in the glove compartment, and it was I didn't add it up or anything, but it was literally just before I got hurt, and I had came to find out that that was just. I also had a near-death experience that day as well. What was being told to me is that my grandfather was there watching over me, knowing that I was just about to get hurt. But the thing of it is, the getting hurt part was inevitable because there was a set of synchronicities behind that I would discover later that had to do with the SSP, which is the secret space program, and also some of the military stuff that was going on at the time. But at that moment, he was basically just telling me that overwhelmingly that he was protected.
That's an amazing experience. And yeah, you see, now that's an intense personal connection that you had. And that's the way that you're learning to feel, because that's probably what happened. Your gut instinct is telling you what was kind of going on there when you had that experience, and everything to go with it. It just, you made that connection, and you make that personal connection too. It's your experience, and nobody else can take that away from you whenever it happens, whatever it may be. And I know that all of you that are listening have had a major synchronistic experience in your life, and I want you to go back and think about them, because it can really help you, and it can answer questions that you may have lived through already but didn't understand. But thinking about those events, maybe that will unlock some keys of your past. How about that for going back to the future?
Yeah, definitely back to the future. Yeah, that there's so many synchronicities that people would think back to all the time that those types of events took place, some weird happenings or weird events that took place. And link it up to events that are currently happening in their life. They were being basically told what was things that were going to take place. Like with all those pennies that were sitting there, I was literally walking on them. He was basically saying he was following my footsteps, protecting. So I had to interpret that. I knew it was him when I saw it, but I did not know what it was for, what the synchronicity was for, until I had gotten hurt. So, and also years later, with how important that day actually was. So it can span over a couple of decades too. These synchronicities, you might have something back here that may eventually reach its like pinnacle, like maybe a decade later. And you can have several small synchronicities that add up to it. If you pay attention to everything that's around you and be observant of everything that's around you, you'll also see the distractions that try to distract you from it. You'll see plenty of them too. But if you cast them aside and ignore them, you're going to see what those distractions were trying to block, what those other beings out there were trying to block, or try to prevent you from deciphering. Once you decipher it, those beings have no power over that blocking that information. And then also your frequency goes up as a result. And even while I'm sitting here, there's like this big validation that's coming up right now. I can feel this chill going up the back of my spine. So it's like
Kundalini.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Anytime I get a validation, I feel this like this chill going up the spine, and it goes around the back of my head and everything. So that's all when I get a validation like that. But I
Ain't that
think it's also, go ahead.
I was going to say, ain't that an amazing feeling?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And if it's really strong, then you have not only good beings, but also good source energy.
And like the ones that I've noticed that are strong, whenever it happens, it could be a thought form, or it could be like a connection of some sort. A lot of times, I know for me, it's intense thoughts and a high understanding. Like when you unlock that understanding, you get this vibrating, like tingling, out of this world experience. Really, it's like you almost injected yourself with drugs, even though you didn't inject yourself with anything.
It's tapping into those same parts of the brain that the drugs were.
Yeah, exactly.
Tap
The
into.
neurotransmitters, where all that activity takes place, and it's just this pop, ping, feeling, I guess, per se. Amazing. It's amazing. I do have one more money one that I'll tell you, and I want to go over some meaning of these angel numbers real quick, just to give people an idea if they see, these license plates. It could be times, it could be sayings on a shirt. If you see these numbers often, this might help give you some insight on the certain meanings of such said number. Each number has multiple different meanings, but they can compound each other and get bigger. Like if you see 3 2s instead of 1 2, all the time, randomly at synchronistic times. Let me go share screen here. La-di-da-da-da. Let's go here. So number 0, you might have always used it to show voidness, but number 0 is the sign of fulfillment. It shows that you are on the right path. You don't need to change anything. The energy of the universe is with you and guiding you towards your ultimate goal of life. It is the sign of infinite possibilities and the free flow of ideas. However, 0 is an angel number and is majorly not included in numerology calculations. One of the ones I used to see quite a bit was 1001. So, there's 1001. Those are kind of alternating reverse sequencing numbers. And a lot of popular alternating ones is like 1121 or something like that, 1121, different ones that are intermixed.
Also binary code where it's 1 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And speaking of number 1, representing the top order, the number is the sign of self-sufficiency. Shows your determination and brings out your capability as a self-reliant leader. The number 1 is also an indication that you have chosen negativity and are struggling to meet the ends. Number 1 is the great omen to start anything new and look for new beginnings. This means you need to shift yourself from negative energies and make a new start with your more vigor and positivity. Number 2, harmony and balance, the 2 pillars of life. And the meaning behind number 2, it is the suggestion that you need to create a perfect balance and synchronize your life. Number 2 is a sign of optimism and a great omen if you are seeking harmony within conflicts. It is often associated with relationships, mutual companionship, and teamwork. It also resonates the energy of adaptability, peace, flexibility, and diplomacy. The person with this number must focus on partnerships and seek divine life purpose. Number 3, the number 3 represents love, wisdom, and good fortune. It is an indication of the time when you can chase your dreams and follow your heart. This shows you the way to gain knowledge and take risks for reaching your goals. Number 3 is also a sign of generosity, spirituality, self-expression, and playfulness. It makes a person an awesome orator and a socialite. Number 3 asks you to live life to the fullest by connecting with higher wisdom. And I love it when I see number 333, baby, and 111. They can have different meanings, altered meanings, like 1111.
Yeah, 3 is one of the strongest numbers, yeah.
Oh, I love it. But 1111, what's that suggest? Walking through the pillars. Right where you need to be, alignment.
Yeah, alignment.
Whatever
yeah.
thoughts. Yeah. Negative or good, you can learn from the bad too. But most of the time, 1111 for me has been associated with good thoughts and wow.
Oh, yeah, you learn from those bad ones all the time. The bad things can actually push you towards a positive synchronicity, and they don't even know it. The bad guys don't even know they're doing it. Yeah.
Number 4. is a sign of order and stability in life. It tells about your organizing capability and shows your immense talents like trustworthiness, management, production, justice, endurance, practicality, inner wisdom, security, and self-control. It asks you to be stable and choose secure ways to build your future. Number 4 is also a suggestion to take a leap of faith and get out of your comfort zone. It reminds you to take action that you have never thought of, and also a warning to prefer conventional over modern trends. Number 5 gives you the wings to fly high with your free-spirited nature. With its influence, you learn to explore and find interest in adventures. Number 5 is often related to independence, to interact and socialize. It reveals the traits like wit, variation, sensuality, adventure, and curiosity. It is also an indication of carelessness, irresponsible behavior, inconsistency, and restlessness. Born with this number, people tend to adapt to every situation with ease and comfort. At least most people might, if you can make that connection. Number 6 is the number of hearts. A person with this numerology number always keeps the heart before the mind. Its energy focuses on the selfless decision and enables the person to remain family-oriented throughout his or her life. The people with the number 6 energy are often seen teaching and guiding others. Number 6 is the sign that now is the time to get rid of all your negative energy and follow kindness, self-sabotage, and idealistic behavior. Number 7, spirituality, self-introspection, and all the activities associated with a spiritual awakening are clung with this number. It indicates the journey to know yourself better and enlighten your soul. Number 7 is the representation of higher wisdom and intellectual consciousness. Number 7 is the omen of good opportunities and profits that may come when you trust your intuition. Negativity, the number gives you indications about the depression, mental turmoil, saturation, self-righteousness, and pride. Like a gambling machine. 7, 7, 7. There's your gambling synchronicity. Now, where do you think they get it from? Probably numerology.
7s and 11s. Yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Number 7-Eleven, the gas station too. Maybe they really do have the best slushies. Number 8, hard work and motivation. Boom. Is what number 8 stands for. It indicates your highly skilled traits and reveals your materialistic attitude towards life. For you, profits and pleasure come prior to every work. Commerce and business are the main focus of the people with this destiny number. Number 8 also represents efficiency, pragmatic nature, orderly behavior, and stubbornness. It asks you to purge your negative attitude and think of doing things in a positive way. And that's the number one number. Number 1 number is number 8 that I've been seeing lately. And I've probably seen that more than anything as of late. You know, I seen it once this past weekend on the way back home, you know, just randomly look over when that little thing in your mind tells you to. 888 license plate. That rhymed.
Yeah, we get a lot of 8 synchronicities all the time.
Oh yeah, I love it. Then number 9. Number 9 is a sign of empathy and humanity. If you are born with this number, you hold a heart of compassion. Such people are philanthropists and humanitarian by nature. They feel immense joy in sharing things and working with people. Teamwork, leadership, inner wisdom, perfection, charity, public relations, discretion, and forgiveness are some of the traits associated with the number 9. In numerology, it is a suggestion to trust your strengths and share wisdom with others. And that's kind of gives you a slow, it dives way deeper than that, but I wanted to give everybody a good basic understanding of how these numbers kind of can sway and influence you.
Mm-hmm.
Synchronistically.
Yeah, I've seen 9 also represent completion of a path or completion to karma as well. Like if there's a karmic debt that's been repaid, essentially, or a cycle, I should say, that's completed karmically. Sometimes 9s are associated with that too.
What's your favorite number overall to see randomly?
Let me see. I've seen a lot of derivatives of 8 before. You know, like number 8. Sometimes I'll see 4s. I'll see 10s and 11s too. Just like
same.
Interestingly enough, I've seen recently I saw a synchronicity that had to do with 10-11, and it had some synchronicity that had to do with Lincoln, Nebraska. So that's like the new
10-11 news.
Yeah, and it ended up linking back to Lincoln. So it was like,
ain't that weird? That's funny.
I've heard that before. You know, it was during somebody's session, and it popped up. We were talking about something, and all of a sudden the time was 10-11, and it linked up to something that was going on in Nebraska. So
Ain't
yeah.
that funny? Yeah, hey, we should start a real news company. Here's all the news nowadays. The bad stories today. How can we scare you? How can we put fear in you? What bad happened today on the news? Well, this thing bad happened today, and this thing bad happened today, and this thing bad happened today. But there was a heartening story about a little cat that was saved in a tree that'll affect about 12 people in this entire world. Yeah. Oh, the world's a better place. The cat made it out of the tree. 190,000 dead from this, and
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
fear mongering bull crap.
Yeah, it's the fake news really lays down the fear. Just like there was a reporter here in Arizona that tried to turn it around and do mostly positive stuff. He was nearly fired. So it was like, so his bosses were telling him like he had to report all the coronavirus deaths and all this other stuff. He's like, well, maybe I want to tell who survived. Maybe I want to. It's like, his boss didn't like that, so it was like, which shows what side that a lot of the fake news favor.
I wonder what the fake news script writers are like. How can we manipulate these numbers to really strike fear into people?
But it doesn't seem to take much. They just basically just flip it around, take the numbers away from the flu, and give it to COVID-19.
Yeah, that's simple fix. Nobody will know. How come the flu was so low this year? Damn it! Somebody forgot to input those flu numbers this year.
Yeah, they just took in an Excel chart somewhere and flipped it over to COVID-19.
Actually, here will be the new thing on the news. The coronavirus ate the flu virus. It's more powerful than the flu virus. It ate it.
It literally consumed it. Now there's no other virus.
Yeah, I can see that being the next thing. I really hope that there's a UFO on the White House lawn, though, is what I hope. UFO disclosure.
Quite like that. I think it's more like the interactions with the people. Like they'll build relations with the people, which they're already doing. There's literally aliens living in people's neighborhoods right now. There's literally families of them that walk around both on the positive and negative spectrum. So it's like I know there's a group of Ebens, which are gray types, even hybrids that live here in this part of Arizona as well. On the flip side of that, there's Nordic type beings and also some groups from a constellation called Cassiopeia that also live amongst us, as well as workers and as friends and as families. So
it's one of my favorite constellations.
Yeah, it's the big W in the sky. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorite constellations.
Yeah. There's 4 distinct races that come from there that visit our planet. So
we need to break out the star book sometime and try to find the general area of all these beings and just kind of look at the general area where they might be. The direction that they are.
Show for everybody, on this. People can put their opinions in the comments below, but another show would be different, like maybe a glossary of the different aliens or the different and where they come from. I think that would be awesome.
We should have figure out a way to have people call in and they can share their experiences with us, what they've seen in their life, what experiences they've had.
Q&A as well. Even though with the lifting, we do Q&A periodically. I'm thinking a conspiracy sector Q&A as well.
We can do that, and we can do that sometime, most certainly. It'd be fun.
Yeah. So I'll see now if anybody wants to come through for any final words.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure. Because I know there's multiple presences around, so it's probably going to be Isaac again, but it's
popping through.
Yeah. There's family members around, everything. So you have family members of yours on your end too. So there's a lot of family around. It's just like on your end, you have your grandfather and father, and several others I don't recognize. And then there's a lot of them on my end, on your end. There's a lot of people on your end I don't recognize at all. You probably would recognize them, but it's who wants to come through out of all of you? My God. Okay, let me see. So we have a huge backing for this. So let's see. Isaac, are you going to be the spokesperson again, or is it somebody new? Okay. It's somebody different this time. All right, cool. All right. Somebody that we knew in there's a group talking about Cassiopeia. That's probably why I mentioned this. There's a couple of ladies that that come through on the Interstellar Council every now and again.
Mm-hmm.
That they frequent the Vegas area quite a bit, and they go back and forth between this area and there a lot. And the first time we ran into them physically. We actually had a physical encounter with this ET group. It was in Phoenix, and we were at a hotel where there was a psychic fair. This was back in November of 2020, and I can hear telepathic chatter when it's going on nearby. Like if somebody's close and in range, I can hear them talking to each other mind to mind. And there were three of them, two ladies and a guy, and they were in a pool area that was outside of our room. Well, I happened to hear them, and they were a little spooked at first that I could hear them, but eventually came back on a telepathic, energetic level, bilocated level, and started to initiate communication. So one of them her name is Elena, and the other one's name is Vesa, and Vesa's brother is named Vosk. So it's Vosk, Vosk.
Vosk.
I probably have the spelling wrong. It's probably like with a QUE or something. He doesn't seem to care, so it's like he's very easygoing. But they dress like us. They look exactly like us. But if you saw these three people, their eyes would be a little different. They have like a squiggle of pupil. They have a squiggle pupil. And it's from the star system they evolved in the Cassiopean system. The sun is a little different, and their eyes evolved differently, but they're related to us. So they look just like somebody a couple of ladies that are in their 20s, but they're actually in their 60s. So that's how the
good DNA. Good DNA.
Yeah, that's the age rate. They say we're supposed to have a similar conversion rate there, but all of our contaminants, toxins, negative energies, and manipulation screwed us up. So, so they've looked 20 something for at least 3 times the age rate we have. So it's like,
lucky.
So ladies, which one of you? Oh, God, there's a ton of you here. Okay, let's say. All right. There's like this huge group on both sides. It's almost like if you could see it, it surrounds both of us, but it's like on that end and it goes around. If you added it up, it would be like a loop around. So it's so Elena, is that you? Can you please confirm that, validate that in the usual way that I need validation? Okay, yeah. Oh, that's strong. Okay. Thank you. All right, and also I have them channel through the usual crystal. So
nice.
Yeah, I have to do that because it's too taxing for me to run it through my body like that. So it drains you like 3 times as fast if
you were starting to look age there for a while.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you'll start to get wrinkly and you'll start to get the elasticity back and everything, but it can age you really quick if you do it wrong. So a lot of channelers do it through just themselves. And I'm not saying that's a stupid idea because I did it for many years, but the smarter idea is through a crystal of some kind. So
I think that's what killed Edgar Casey.
Well, he channeled directly whole groups through himself. So yeah, that would have eventually aged him very quickly. Okay, Elena or Vesa or Vosk, which one of you three are talking? Elena. Okay, all right. Okay. Isaac, why are you creeping back in the closet like a creepy creeper? Okay, all right. I'm not even want to know. Okay. They all laughed at that. I make fun of him in front of the others, and they just he's usually the one throwing the jokes out. So it's like talk about South Park, Beavis and Butthead. That's pretty much Isaac right there. Okay, Elena. Yeah, we can. Yes, I'll shut up so you can come in. Okay. All right. You're very strong today. Okay. All right. Through the crystal, please, if you don't mind. The signal is a bit jumbled, but I will compensate for this. Yes, many have heard me on the different programs, but I've never been on this specific one. So I will introduce myself. I am Elena, or at least that's the name that I use on Earth, from the Cassiopean star system of a group of beings known as Saranans. This particular conversation about synchronicities is quite you would say awesome, because of the fact that with a manipulation to the telepathic field, you see, you can show people certain synchronicity signs and imagery, and even say words appearing in different supposed random places, either for a warning, for a synchronicity, as you would say, different imagery, like those tractors were for yourself and for the coins for himself. Or you can direct a person telepathically to a certain place that contains all of these signs and symbols. Now, this is how some of the positive beings, let's just say out there, operate. There are a multitude of different races and beings that will show you these different signs and synchronicities, but cannot always speak to you directly. Even though we are essentially physical, we are just exactly like you. There are certain, let's just say, rules in place that make it so that we have to communicate through other means like this. So with that said, the synchronicities that, say, Vesa and myself, or Vask and myself would leave, would be more visually based, such as, say, a well-placed drive down the road to see a billboard, or say, a picture in a magazine, a well-timed picture on the internet, etc., or a book that falls open to a particular image that may say what we are trying to say. If, say, the person looking for the signs or seeing the signs is not necessarily telepathically inclined like himself here that can hear the words. So with that said, I can actually go into questions if you like.
Yes. Hi, Elena. How can people better themselves and use synchronicities and synchronistic experiences? How can they use that to better their lives?
Well, if you begin to notice these synchronicities, it can also be your, what is known as the oversoul, or some people call it the higher essence, that is giving you these particular synchronicities. Noticing these can break deep set programs within your mind space. You see, you are perceiving the synchronicities with more of a heart space intention, you see, and the intuitive side, which is not necessarily always brain based, you see. There may be a sync between the brain and the heart, you see, but noticing these synchronicities and noticing these signs, the positively inclined ones, that is, that are leading you to a more positive ends and means, or balanced ends and means, will begin to break old patterns, because you'll begin to acknowledge that certain synchronicities have to do with old patterns that no longer serve you, you see. Either that, or there is information that is leading you to breaking certain old patterns. When you begin to noticing these synchronicities is key here. When you notice the synchronicities, that is beginning the path to breaking some of these old patterns, habits, addictions, and the like. Even though in the case of addictions and patterns, this may take longer, but you may be getting messages on the starting point to get rid of these. Now, with certain synchronicities that are more quickly based, let's just say, like the coins, for instance, that even though those can be interpreted a number of different ways, in this specific one with himself and yourself, that just meant family members that were attempting to communicate with you, maybe even to stop you from going down a certain path, or stopping literally from going down a certain road. And in some cases, it meant support, like himself, with the amount of change that was there, an overwhelming support and protection. This leads to a set of events, even though with him, it was a horrific event. It led to a series of other synchronicities that led to something positive, ending certain karmic cycles and the like. But as I've said, merely noticing them at first is a starting point.
Interesting. Love that. Take the last few minutes of the show here, and would you please enlighten us with some of the supernatural creatures and alien beings, or just bad entities, bad energies that might be at play to harm us? And when it comes to kind of the synchronistic realm, and some beings that are there to help us, give us the both sides of the coin spectrum here.
Yes, no pun intended, I'll bet. So in this, the bad side of the spectrum, one of the more obvious ones are the draconian species, such as reptilian and also Orion Gray, as well as zeta gray, and some even species that are out there. There are also good gray species that will also give you certain synchronicities as well. They are from different parts of space. But the bad ones, what they will do, such as your classic mimicker demons that can live within the walls of the house. Say you have one of these creatures within the walls of your house, literally sucking the life force out of you and making people angry and making people despondent. This will then change your abundance intake to where certain opportunities pass you by, certain job opportunities may pass you by, certain dreams may seem like they are more distant, and certain signs will seem like they are non-existent. And synchronicities will then be blocked from you at that particular moment in time. This is what these creatures do. They hold the space. This is why you must hold your space stronger than they can hold theirs, and hold your space. There are also other beings that he himself has either called trolls or time-stealing entities, where they will literally take your potentiality and block the potential energy away from you and direct it towards themselves. This is more of a vampiric move, just like a demon. This is also why you have to pay attention to the true signs and synchronicities that these beings may even be around. There are also other lists of small demonic entities that can mess with your electronics, that live within the crystals of your electronics, I might add, that came from the earth. These ones will mess with you on more of a sexual basis, actually, but this also takes away from you seeing signs and symbols that this is taking place. Now, on the positive end of the spectrum, there are a multitude of beings, my own people included in this, that can telepathically send these signs and synchronicities to you. Of course, there's also benevolent source creator as well, and the overall benevolent source field, and also your own oversoul that sends these signs and synchronicities. But as far as a list goes, the species that live in the Cassiopeia, the way they will send you signs and synchronicities, the more warrior ones, which are the Mozen, will often point out a demon intrusion to you so that you can learn to get rid of it. If you ask them, yes, they will help you get rid of this, but they will also expect you to be able to do it yourself in time, very much like riding a bike without the training wheels. My people, they will lead you to more fun synchronicities, such as if you want to, say, take a load off, let's just say, and go to a more of a Vegas-like setting or more of a fun, relaxing type setting. This is what Vesa and I myself do at times. We will direct people towards more fun areas that maybe they can learn some information that can also help them, like he himself and dear Joanna had happen on their Vegas trip. Such as learning about some of the different alien species. Now there are a couple of benevolent gray spirit species out there. One is from Beta Centauri, and the other is from a different part of a space that is on the opposite end of the quadrant. That particular species is more of a tall green, blue, and yellow and tan colored gray species that help people sometimes out of sticky situations. Say if they were going down an alley that they would end up being robbed. And if there's no, say, spiritual lesson behind that robbery, that falls into what he calls the overage pile, then they sometimes will intervene on the behalf of people. Some people would call this angelically inspired, but the irony behind this, you see, is there is an Orion Nordic species that were some of your winged serpents back in the days of the old Orion wars, you see, 500,000 to 1 million years ago, that were these winged beings. They are no more angelic than the planet in which they came from. So with that said, they will take away different abundance from you. Even though there are such things, as you say, as angel numbers and synchronicities through numerology, even though the word angel just merely means messenger, the ones you call archangels or fallen are the ones trying to prevent you from seeing these different signs, you see. So on the opposite end of the spectrum, informing himself and people, say, some of the different histories, and where some of these beings end up on the spectrum of what you would call good, bad, and ugly, let's just say, and all in between, which in fact, you'll find that more species fall more all in between than anything else. Educating people on the different races that exist that are more like yourself, like us, and some that are more dimensional, like different energy species and different, say, plasmoid type species, blobus-like species, and the like, educating on what is more spiritual and what is more physical and the bridges in between. This will also help people break away from mind control, such as different organized religious settings and political fake news type settings as well. These are the things that are at play, but the most disturbing, though, are some of your very own kind out there that are performing acts of control and acts of, say, calling themselves the hero when they're really the villain, or creating fights amongst all of your people, you see. Now, this is some of the villains and some of the, let's just say, not so villainous races that are out there. The list is longer than I am tall, and I'm over 6 feet tall. So with that said, that would encompass its own show. But just know there are some that are malevolently intended, and there are some that are positively intended. But also there are those out there with conflicting agendas than your own, even on this show, and some that interpret benevolence and malevolence in two completely different ways than humans, and many different ways than humans. This is why eventually humans will have to clarify with some species what malevolence and what benevolence are. Some are ignorant in that way, some just play dumb. So also that is a way that you have to discern. When the earth opens up to all of these races, you will see a plethora of all in between. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you, Elena, for coming through today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure and honor to do so. And we will return on your next installment of this program. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, she's actually a fairly easy channel. She's come through in dreams and everything to me. So
good info. Good info.
Yeah. To describe what she looks like to people that in this viewing audience, the conspiracy sector viewing audience, she has dark hair, wears a black like jumpsuit type of like skin tight. I call it the 7 of 9 like outfit, and she has black hair. And Vesa, her friend, wears like all purple and has blonde hair and blue eyes. So that's what these two look like. And they look like they're in their 20s, but they're really in their 60s or 70s. So
young youthfulness, radiant youthfulness.
Yeah, and they're saying humans eventually will regain that ability once a lot of the pollutants have.
I have a feeling it won't be in our lifetime, though.
It's already beginning, is how they're saying. It's already beginning, but yes, we won't see that cycle come to completion for some time. But it's right. Because it took many years to put the garbage there. It takes many to get it out. So
exactly, and we the destruction of the earth should be an episode 2 sometime where we can dive on in, just show you how much has happened and how we need to clean this world up in more ways than just one, though. But let's not focus on the bad now. Let's focus on the good, wherever you are, wherever you may be. If you're listening to this, I wish you well. We both wish you well. We hope that you're doing fine in your life in all ways. And please use synchronicity and synchronistic experiences to better yourself and to discover ways of how you can connect not only to a higher power, but connect more to yourself. And use that as information to help guide you to a brighter future. I just want to thank everybody for listening. I hope everybody's doing fine. Chris, do you want to give any final thoughts for this episode?
Yes, just know it's like what we say on Interstellar Council too. When I'm on there every Friday, we always say it's always you looking at you. It's you giving yourself the synchronicities, and it's you allowing you to see the synchronicities, the good beings, and the good source energy puts out there. So with that said, thank you, everybody. You are now exiting and have entered before that the conspiracy sector.
Bye-bye, everybody. Have a good one.